The feline phenomenon of Fluffy Bottom Lane. This is Whiskers. He is a ginger cat. He is very, very fluffy. Whiskers is also extremely curious about everything. He lives on Fluffy Bottom Lane, you see. The houses there are painted bright, cheerful colors. It looks like a rainbow had a rather messy party. Whiskers absolutely loves to explore every single nook and cranny. Whiskers has big, round green eyes. His observant eyes see absolutely everything around him. A tiny, buzzing fly dancing in the air. A colorful autumn leaf falling gently from a tall tree. A new, forgotten shoelace lying innocently on the floor. He always has to know more about such things. What is that strange new object over there? Can I perhaps bat it playfully with my soft paw?
His lovely human is named Penelope. Penelope has wonderful, vibrant pink hair. Sometimes, just for a change, her hair is bright blue. She loves Whiskers very, very much, despite his antics. Penelope often sighs with a smile. This usually happens when Whiskers finds himself stuck somewhere, or more often, when he has knocked something rather important over. This, it must be said, happens quite a lot, to be perfectly honest. Fluffy Bottom Lane is usually a remarkably peaceful sort of place. Well, that is until Whiskers decides to wake up from his nap. The little birds sing their sweet, melodious songs in the trees. Pretty, colorful flowers bloom happily in all the neat gardens. Then suddenly a loud crash is heard echoing down the street, or perhaps a worried, slightly pathetic yowl echoes all around. That is just Whiskers enthusiastically starting his very busy day. His day is always, without fail, full of playful and inventive mischief.
One particularly bright and sunny morning, Whiskers spotted something entirely new in the garden. It was very, very red. It was also remarkably shiny and quite intriguing. It hung invitingly from a branch on a big old tree. Penelope mentioned it contained tasty seeds for the birds. She called it a bird feeder, a silly name. Whiskers immediately named it the Great Red Mystery Object. He simply had to touch it to investigate. Right now, this very instant was not soon enough. He wiggled his fluffy ginger bottom in preparation. He got ready for a truly magnificent, heroic jump. Up he soared through the air, but he missed it completely. Drat. Oops. He then bravely tried to climb the tall tree trunk. It was far too slippery for his determined little paws.
Barnaby the bulldog watched all of this unfold. Barnaby lived right next door to Whiskers and Penelope. He was, by nature, a very grumpy and unimpressed dog. This, in dog language, clearly meant, "That cat is a total fool." Whiskers pretended not to hear the rude comment. Barnaby, after all, knew absolutely nothing of important red things, or the serious science of feline investigation for that matter. Whiskers decided to try his luck one more time. He took a determined, fast-running leap towards his goal. This time he actually hit the bird feeder. Bang! Success. Well, it was a sort of messy success. Tiny seeds flew absolutely everywhere, like a seed explosion. Whiskers also flew everywhere, rather ungracefully too. He landed with a surprised yelp in a large, thorny rosebush. Penelope came running outside immediately.
Whiskers! The rather prickly rosebush belonged to Mrs. Higgins. Mrs. Higgins loved her incredibly neat and pretty garden. Most of all, she loved her special friend Gary. Gary was her most prized and beloved garden gnome. He always wore a pointy, cheerful red hat. He also held a tiny, delicate fishing rod in his hand. Whiskers, in his flight, had landed right on top of poor Gary. This was not going to end well at all. Gary the garden gnome toppled over with a thud. His little pointy red hat snapped right off. Oh dear! Mrs. Higgins saw the entire unfortunate incident. She was looking intently from her kitchen window at the time. She gasped very loudly, a gasp of pure horror. "My Gary!"
She cried out in complete dismay. This was shaping up to be a very big problem indeed. A very big gnome-related problem for everyone involved. Whiskers blinked and looked down at the fallen Gary. Gary looked quite sad and a bit dazed, Whiskers thought. He was lying awkwardly on his side in the soft grass. Whiskers, being a helpful sort of cat, decided he should assist. He nudged Gary gently with his inquisitive pink nose. He then playfully batted Gary's broken red hat around. He tried his very best to stand poor Gary upright again. But gnomes, he quickly realized, are surprisingly heavy for a cat. So Whiskers began to drag Gary with all his might. Across the freshly cut green lawn he pulled the gnome. Past the ever-watchful, grumpy Barnaby he went.
Silly meddling cat.
Barnaby just snorted loudly, a puff of disdainful air. Whiskers then cleverly hid Gary from view. Right inside Barnaby's wooden doghouse, it seemed perfect. A great hiding place, he thought proudly. Mrs. Higgins was now absolutely furious.
Penelope saw the commotion. She saw Mrs. Higgins's face. She saw Whiskers looking rather pleased with himself nearby. Suddenly, Penelope had a brilliant idea, a truly clever idea. She knew Whiskers very, very well indeed, you see. She knew his one single, undeniable, all-consuming weakness: squeaky toys. He adored them more than anything, especially his favorite tatty blue mouse, Mr. Squeak. Whiskers would do almost anything for his beloved Mr. Squeak. Penelope fetched Mr. Squeak from the toy basket. She squeaked it enticingly many, many times. She did this very near Barnaby's wooden doghouse. Whiskers' fluffy ginger ears perked straight up instantly. His big, round green eyes went incredibly wide with excitement. Mr. Squeak, his favorite! He had to have it! He darted like a furry orange blur towards the familiar sound. Right into the dark, slightly smelly doghouse he ventured and saw Gary. My Gary! You found him!
Mrs. Higgins exclaimed with pure joy. She truly thought Whiskers had bravely saved Gary, perhaps from that grumpy, unreliable dog, Barnaby.
What a wonderfully clever and brave little cat you are.
She beamed at Whiskers, who preened under the praise. Whiskers received a very large bowl of delicious tuna, and he got lots and lots of warm cuddles from Penelope. Penelope just winked knowingly at her mischievous cat. Mrs. Higgins was incredibly happy and relieved about Gary. Gary soon got a brand new, even pointier red hat. Barnaby the bulldog just sighed deeply and rolled his eyes. Whiskers, of course, learned absolutely nothing from his adventure. He purred loudly, already planning his next exciting escapade.